Andalusian and night sky to set the tone for everything that follows in this edition of the Spanish Top Flight. Opening night always brings that intoxicating nervous crackle, that pure illusion, meaning deep hope and fervent anticipation. It's that one fleeting moment where past heartaches evaporate. The league table is a blank canvas, and every supporter truly believes that tonight marks the turning of the tide. A very warm welcome along from me, Charlie McGuinness, to our live coverage of this opening round fixture from Spain's Top Flight. You are listening to independent, unofficial commentary as Sevilla take on Rayo Vallecano. Whether you are tuning in from home or on the move, it is always fantastic to have your company for what promises to be a gripping, tactical and psychological test. These two clubs share a deep and fascinating history, from iconic figures like Koke, who captained Rayo Vallecano to promotion before lifting 3 European trophies here in Seville, to local Vallecas hero Alvaro Negredo, affectionately known as La Fiera de Vallecas, the Beast of Vallecas, scoring 85 goals in white and red. The footballing ties between Nervión and the capital run remarkably deep. Presenting tonight is the Estadio Ramón Sánchez Pizjuán in Seville. It is a warm, balmy Saturday night in Andalusia, and you can already feel the heat trapped in the bowl under the floodlights. The pitch immaculate, the stands almost full now, and there's an unmistakable crackle of opening night tension echoing around Nervión. In charge of proceedings tonight is Ricardo de Burgos Bengoechea. It really is a classic southern Spanish evening for football. The air is still, the turf looks slick, and the home faithful are ready to find their voice. These late kickoffs in Seville always carry a unique energy, where the early season optimism collides head on with the raw pressure of what is always a demanding crowd. And to understand the atmosphere inside the ground tonight, you have to look at what both clubs have endured over the last 12 months. Sevilla enter this season having finished just a single point above the relegation zone in back-to-back campaigns. Financial constraints have forced a severe wage bill reduction this summer, with high earners like Tanguy Nianzou, Jibril Sow and leading scorer Aker Adams departing. A proposed takeover collapsed in early summer, leaving head coach Luis Garcia Plaza to build a gritty, pragmatic survival unit. Garcia Plaza pulled no punches in a pre-match press conference, stating bluntly that his side must have that true instinto de supervivencia coursing through their veins, that survival instinct, and that avoiding suffering would already be a massive step forward. Rayo Vallecano, meanwhile, are managing their own emotional reset after finishing 8th last term and making a fairy tale run all the way to a major European final in Leipzig. They lost manager Inigo Perez to Villarreal. New boss Beñat San Jose arrives from Eibar with a strict cero excusas philosophy. Rayo's pre-season was complicated by temporary safety closures at the Vallecas Stadium, alongside heavy defensive turnover, with Pep Chavaria moving to Chelsea and Nobel Mendy to Hull City. San Jose made it clear yesterday, survival remains the primary baseline, and the team must forge an identity without looking back. History on the opening day heavily favours the home side. Sevilla and Rayo have met on the opening weekend twice this century, with Sevilla running out 4-1 winners in 2018 and 3-0 victors in 2021. In fact, out of 30 previous visits to this stadium, Rayo have managed just 2 victories. Well, let's run you through how both teams line up tonight, starting with Sevilla. Los Nervioneses, Odysseus of Vlachodimos makes his competitive debut between the posts. It's Juan Iglesias at right back, Aruno Sangante, a partner in Quique Salas in central defence, and Gabriel Suazo at left back. Lucien Agume anchors alongside academy graduate Nico Guillen. The attacking trio is Miguel Sierra on the right, John Garidi pulling the strings as the creative number 10, and also providing width on the left. 26-year-old Isaac Romero leads the line. Marquee 6.5 million Scottish signing Robbie Ure begins on the bench, alongside Jadera Ajuke and Ruben Vargas as he continues his adaptation to Spanish football. For Rayo Vallecano, los Franjirrojos, Augusto Batalla, the hero of their European run, starts in goal. It's Antonio Raitsiu on the right, Florian Lejeune alongside Pat Cisse in central defence, and Ivan Value on the left. In the middle, it's captain Oscar Valentin partnering with Unai Lopez. Last season's top scorer Jorge de Frutos is on the right. Isi Falazon cleared after a precautionary ban suspension in the centre, and Alvaro Garcia on the left, but we expect those three to be very fluid behind the man leading the line, Randy Ntega. These defensive signings, Marash Kumbula and Luis Felipe, miss out entirely through injury. The tactical dynamic in the middle third will be critical. We'll keep an eye on John Garidi for Sevilla, brought in to offer the vertical pressing and link-up play, going head-to-head with disruptive defensive presence of Oscar Valentin. A poignant moment before kick-off as the Sevilla supporters and the Rayo Vallecano supporters and players alike pause for a moment to remember those Sevilla players that have passed over the past year, as well as victims of tragedies across Europe and Colombia, of course, where there was that horrible natural disaster recently. Well, the players have completed their warm-ups. They are in position on the pristine Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan turf. The flags waving across the stand, the floodlights blazing, the tension palpable. Both managers already prowling their technical areas. The referee counting up the players. A look to the touchline. We are about to get underway in the Spanish top flight opener this Saturday evening kickoff in the warm 30-degree weather in Andalucía. It will be Sevilla kicking us off, playing from left to right in white shirts, white shorts and dark socks. Rayo Vallecano in their change strip, all red with a white zigzag sash across their chest and black sleeves. It is John Garidi standing over the ball, waiting patiently for the referee's go ahead. He himself is waiting for the league official on the touchline to give him the nod. A slight delay to proceedings so far this evening. I'm not entirely sure what this is, but we are very excited to be able to bring you this fixture tonight. A bit of a delay. There's nothing more than just ramps up the tension. All on the centre spot, all the players in position. He's just pacing around. There's still not quite the go-ahead we want. He's just explaining the situation to Isi. She would explain it to us in our commentary position. Shrug of the shoulders from Ricardo de Burgos in our chair. Just passed on the information to John Garidi. Taking it in good spirits, though, with coaches on either bench. With Garcia Plaza, it's the ball. The problem is, and that's San Jose. Made a step up from Ibar, taking over from Inigo Perez. There's a bit of continuity. The former assistant manager Anthony Iraola, as he was Rayo Vallecano manager. He's now departed to pastures new, taking over at Villarreal. And a slightly farcical start to tonight's proceedings. A bit of frustration now being shown by the two bosses. Those Rayo Vallecano supporters are in full voice, as they so often are. Well, the referee's come across to the touchline himself to have a word with the officials, the representatives from the league who are passing on the information to him. He's in discussions about whether this game could go ahead or start. It's certainly not going to start on time. We are 6 minutes past the expected kick-off time. He looks just as perplexed as we are here. There's an opportunity to run you through that starting 11 for Sevilla. Vlachodimos, of course, made 37 appearances last season after that August 2025 move from Newcastle United. The captain tonight for Sevilla is Gabriel Suazo. He was a free transfer from Toulouse last year. Kike Salas and Aluna Sangante, the two centre-backs. Sangante, a new recruit from Le Havre. The referee has just called over Oscar Valentin, is it? Bruno Lopez. Just explaining the situation to both of them. Gabriel Suazo given the explanation from the match official. A couple of balls rolled out onto the pitch to allow the players to stay warm. And still we wait. Oh, apologies, there's not much we can do about this. We just sit here patiently, hoping that this will begin at some point in the very near future, and it will. They are underway. The go-ahead given. It's Sean Garidi kicking us off for Sevilla. And finally, we have action from the Sevilla neighbourhood of Nervion. Long before kick-off, the streets surrounding the Barrio de Nervion were absolute gridlock. Tapas bars along Calle Sevilla Football Club and Avenida Eduardo Dato. They spill right out of the pavements. It is quite a sight, packed with supporters. They're pretty much ritual at previa, pre-match gathering. Called Cañas in the evening heat. And trading opinions, it's been a tough few years for Sevilla supporters. But they're looking to start brightly here with Sierra. And an early strike across the face of goal is beaten away by Augusto Batalla. At least he tries to take it down just outside the penalty area. There was Lucien Agume, the 24-year-old Frenchman. And tucks it backwards to Bruno Sangante of Senegal. And there's again the new Sevilla centre-back. Sends that to his right foot, Juan Iglesias. Past Eduardo Garcia, the number 18 shirt, 23 years old. Spanish winger. Marking another appearance in the top flight. It's now 335 appearances for Rayo Vallecano. Joined the club 8 years ago from Cadiz. What a story it's been for Vallecano. It's another league side now. One of the teams punching above their weight in Spain's top flight. That's a feeling that the locals know quite a lot about. This ground, affectionately nicknamed La Bombonera de Nervion, does really box in the noise, an emotional sanctuary for locals. One of the few stadiums where the pre-match anthem isn't piped to the PA system, and it's quite something to behold. As they're all lined up prior to kick-off. Sevilla with a throw on the left-hand side. And by Orso. For Romero, trying to turn it down the left-hand side. Instead there's Vallecano bodies in the way. Maybe a ball towards halfway. There's Agume intervening. All the way back to Vlachodimos. Towards halfway, unable to link up with Guerrero. Vlachodimos has lost it. And Rayo Vallecano opened the scoring. A horrible moment for Sevilla. And Aruna Sangante underhit the bars. Alvaro Garcia capitalised. There was no one in goal to stop him from scoring. And it must feel like Groundhog Day for Sevilla supporters. He tries to usher it back to Sangante. He wasn't aware of Alvaro Garcia's presence, just pokes it between his legs. Vlachodimos had come to collect it. And Alvaro Garcia scores his first goal of the season. He was on target versus Feyenoord in pre-season. Last league goal came back in March against Real Oviedo. Won't be many more popular scorers than Alvaro Garcia tonight from a Rayo Vallecano perspective, and they've really shot themselves in the foot here, Sevilla. And by Iglesias, picked off by Garcia. They've really created their own brand over recent years, Rayo Vallecano. It's high intensity, all action pressing from the off. Beñat, San Jose has a task on his hands to keep that going. It's been so successful for them. Took them all the way to that European final back in May. They were a lesser team, you have to say, against Crystal Palace in Leipzig, and beaten 1-0 in the end. Jean-Philippe Mateta with the goal that evening. Quite a moment, not just for Rayo Vallecano, but Palace as well. A historic occasion for both clubs, especially, though, you have to say, for a club of Vallecano's size. Instead of player on the far side, it's Orso. He felt he was fouled as it was poked away from him by Randy Inteka. Angolan international now. 15 appearances after making his bow last year in Africa's continental tournament. Parker's easy. There's magic in his boots and the ability to open things up, and it's a good ball by Garcia. Almost to Inteka. It's over the crossbar in the end from Randy Inteka, who was stretching, and already Luis Garcia Plata is nibbling his nails. Was caught up with it mid-stride. Then Inteka, a little shake of the head. Another opportunity. Vlachodimos. By Garcia. All the way to Cis. Long from Lejeune. Out towards the left-hand side where Isi had peeled off. Moving the ball a bit quicker, he says. Maybe a Sevilla throw-in down this right-hand side. Really ran the show in that European run last season, did Isi. I said him his full name. He's Alonso Camacho. Just 11 more appearances before he reaches the 300 mark for Rayo. That's how he was for Filomena in 2020. Sevilla with the throw out on the left-hand side. So also wings it, looks like he'll take it as well. One who's come through the academy ranks. They're going to have to rely a little bit more on the young players, Sevilla, I mentioned those financial constraints have caused them real problems. Here's Alvaro Garcia, the goal scorer, into the 6-yard box. The clearance is only as far as Isi on the left edge of the penalty area, twisting and turning. That's a lovely little move, but can't get it past the defender. Clearance only drops to Cease on the edge of the centre circle. Lejeune to Lazio. Pull back forward, stepping inside. Still has it. Tries to clip it into the penalty area. Lazio. It's in towards Nteka. A little shove in the back of Lucien Ragume. That'll be a free kick for Sevilla on the edge of their penalty area. There's some frustrated faces in the Sevilla crowd tonight already. We're now trailing off for just 4 minutes if you are only just joining us. Lofted out towards this right-hand side, too high for Juan Iglesias. In the hands of Value. Tossed in towards Nteka. Too high for him. Tapped back by Sangante to Vlachodimos. A bit safer in his touch this time. Sangante. Odysseus Vlachodimos. Really through no fault of his own, just cross wires. I think Sangante was a little bit casual in the way he approached the situation. Gume wants to throw it down on the near side. It's not going to go his way. There will be a Rayo Vallecano throw-in. Here's Cease to Lejeune. Back to Cease on the edge of the penalty area. So his left-hand side for Albanian Value. Isi Palazon is beaten to it. There's Agume. Can't tuck it inside to find Romero. It's well read by Cease. Isi tries to get it all the way down the left-hand side. Fixed off a Sevilla leg and out of play for the Rayo Vallecano throw, and it was Miguel Sierra with the final touch, 22 years old. Another off the production line. This football coming for Sevilla's second team. 21 appearances last season for Sevilla 2. 28 in the previous year. Good feature last year, 4 times in the top flight as well as the cup. It's been a regular feature of their pre-season. 25 minutes against Utrecht at the start of the month. It's noticeable really just how many academy graduates or B-team players you might call them have made the step up to this Sevilla team. Massive Isaac Romero, they're a little bit more established, but Nico Guillen is just 18 years old. It's his first league appearance, first competitive appearance for the senior team tonight. Garcia spots on the free kick. It's backwards to Aruna Sangante. Now Vlachodimos to Sangante. Comes up to the right back position, watches a long ball forward towards Romero. Will flick it on towards Sierra. He tries to get also in the game. Instead it's lashed away by Lazio. Playing inside the Sevilla half of the pitch for a throw into the home side. Guillen. It's Salas. Sangante right in the middle of his own half of the pitch. Iglesias. Side for Garidi. Drifts in field away from the defenders. That's across to Chilean Suazo, the captain. Garidi again. Guillen. Dispossessed. Maybe they can fly forward again here, Rayo Vallecano. It was Jorge de Frutos who was leading the charge. Just ran out of steam and space as well, as Suazo and Salas came together in front of him. He expects Sevilla to dominate possession of the ball. Maybe the scoreline, as we've already seen. Here's Quique Salas. We've already had a couple of games, or one at least. Today, Alaves 3-0 winners over Getafe. Goals from Nahuel Tenaglia, Mariano Diaz and Mikel Rodriguez. A late surge from Alaves, who, as things stand, sit top of the pile. I'm not sure that'll last for very long. The big boys will get involved in the weeks to come. Tomorrow, Racing Santander take on Villarreal, Espanyol against Levante, Deportivo against Elche. That's a Monday night kickoff, and Atletico Madrid face Malaga in midweek. We'll see Real Madrid or Barcelona until next weekend. They travel to Espanyol to Real Madrid, while Elche is the destination for Barcelona. Free kick to Rayo Vallecano inside their own penalty area. It's Augusto Batalla. Do the duties. In his 85th appearance for Vallecano. Summer signing last year in 2025 for £1.4 million. He's been to the club already. Play down his left-hand side, but the wrong choice there from Juan Iglesias. Gives away the throw-in. It's the persistence from Alvaro Garcia. It's going to be an opportunity to launch it. Certainly a foul throw, not spotted by the referee, but what matter is that Ilan Baliu, the Albanian, whose that leg came a foot off the ground as he tried to launch that into the box. Got good distance, good trajectory. No one there in red to meet it though. Got him long. With Romero. Pushing back by Cis to Batalla. But despite the early goal, these two sides still just feeling each other out in the opening exchanges in Seville this evening. Reminder for you, are listening to Independent's unofficial commentary of this Spanish top flight clash. I still appreciate having your company, whether it is for these games in the Premier competition in Spain or other fixtures you do join us for. It is our pleasure to bring you all the action. At the moment, the action is all on the edge of the Rayo Vallecano penalty area, and it's launched away by Batalla. There's Sangante committed on the head on the edge of the centre circle, fed forward towards Alvaro Garcia, looking to try and find a route past Juan Iglesias. He keeps it in, prevents the corner kick, but will sacrifice the throw-in at least. That one in quickly from Aliou. Breaks down as he tried to link up with Isi. Set piece in the middle of the park. Sangante, I think, is going to take it here. Well, then yes, San Jose will be the happier of the two managers. The body language on display from both of these two bosses tells you all you need to know. His fingernails have been firmly fixed in Luis Garcia Plata's glass. It's pretty much the word go this evening. With Batalla. For Lazio. Frutos. Now Lopez sliding in, can't win it back as Sevilla turn it over. Now here's John Garidi. Lost out to Lejeune on the edge of the penalty area. Strong challenge from the 35-year-old Frenchman. And Rayo Vallecano draw the foul out on that right-hand side. That's for the challenge on Andrei Vatsiu, the Romanian fullback. 98 caps for his country. Did feature back in 2024. Continental International showpiece. 20 minutes and all, 4 games with the Netherlands, Slovakia, Belgium and Ukraine. Let's bring an international pedigree from Vatsiu to Batalla. Clearance will only find Miguel Sierra on halfway. Drops the shoulder away from Issy. And off to Sangante. Now Salas. To his left foot. Suazo. Inside to Garidi. Being played in front of Rayo Vallecano at the moment, rather than through them. Here's Kike Salas. A long diagonal. And it's fairly simple for Ivan Balju. Let's cushion it back to Batalla again. To Lejeune. Touching the penalty area. A long ball down the right-hand side. Spotted the Frutos, who was trying to get after it. The pass was overhit. And Nicodemus gets Sevilla moving again through Sangante. Now Agume. Forward towards Sierra. Bundled off the ball. Settled though for Rayo Vallecano, and that just allows Lucien Agume to step in and once again tuck it back to Nicodemus. Salas. Odysseus Nicodemus. To the right flank for Juan Iglesias. A knockdown will find Sierra, who in turn has been fouled by Balju. That will be a free kick for Sevilla, just in front of managers down below us. It's also who's trotting across to take it. He left with the delivery, so the opportunity to try and swing it into the penalty area. Vallecano setting up the defensive line. A good 3 or 4 yards outside the penalty area. That's Salas and Sangante up from the back. Just have the option of playing it down the line to Guyen if he wants to. So also will look to the edge of the penalty area. And well, the less said about that delivery, the better, but it is kept in play. Recycled! An acrobatic attempt from Lucien Agume there. Too many bodies between him and the goal. He never made contact in the end. As Batalla punches clear, they recycled the ball, pumped it back into the penalty area. Nico Guyen just got a little bit overexcited as the punch was straight onto his forehead. I think he's trying to plant that back over the top of the goalkeeper, which was always very unlikely. It's behind for a goalkeeper, probably maybe here for Augusto Batalla. Yeah, that was just an elbow. As he came to punch it, it was Aruna Sangante who'd stayed up with Lejeune. Now, I won't give you specifics about where Sangante's elbow ended up, but safe to say, a very sensitive place on Augusto Batalla's body. He's just taken a couple of moments to gather himself, regain his composure. It's a long ball forward. And they've won themselves a corner kick, Rayo Vallecano. Just work from Randy and Taker, excuse me, up against Quique Salas. It's bounced off the chest of the Sevilla defender. I was convinced that the last touch came off of Inteka. Issy short. Back to Issy. Towards the back post. It's the Lejeune who's claiming he was held. Well, pushing and shoving in the 18-yard box. And referee Ngoyechea some tidying up to do. So he sees Juan Iglesias, the naughty boys who've been called into the headmaster's office. It's just confirmed as well to Florian Lejeune that there's no problem with the challenge by Bruno Sangante. You can see what Lejeune was claiming. Sees his touch, drops to Sierra. Here goes Romero. It's Lejeune who steps across. Does he manage to win the goal kick? He has. Just played it against Isaac Romero. Vallecano finishing just 1 point behind Getafe last season. Just 4 pre-season games after their season was extended due to their involvement in the European final. Summer fixtures finished that 3-0 loss to Ipswich Town. Fixture in England's top flight as that gets underway next weekend. Expectations have lifted at Vallecas. There are some issues to contend with. Tenancy at the Campo de Football temporarily suspended in July by local authorities. There were health and safety concerns, and you may have seen the pictures. There were cables strewn all over the place, and there's the rubbish in the stairwells. It's a very atmospheric ground, very unique in Spanish football. Hoping to play their upcoming home fixture against Alaves in Vallecas. There is contingency plans afoot to share Leganes Butarque ground. It was just 1 win in pre-season for them as well. Coming against Charleroi, the Belgian side. At the start of August. Apart from that, it was defeats to Hearts at Tynecastle, Feyenoord, and to keep in the Netherlands, and of course, as we've already mentioned, Ipswich Town at Portman Road. Both sets of players have just wandered over to the sidelines. Take a deep breath. It's a hydration break yet again. This one does seem to make a little bit more sense. It's over 30 degrees despite the late nature of the kickoff in Seville this evening. It's very animated. Then yeah, San Jose passing on the message to his players as they come across. It's just a hydration break as well. It's a tactical one, I have to say. On a personal note, after a summer of rowing Norwegians, hydration breaks, halftime shows featuring global pop stars, presidential involvement in disciplinary matters, some controversial, shall we say, styles of play from some of the teams in that international tournament earlier this summer. It's nice to have what you might call proper football back. The EFL in England, the lower leagues of English football got up and running earlier today. And of course, Spain's top flight starting here this evening. Unnamed officials at governing bodies internationally and domestically, and of course with controversy over the last few months. There's been enough written about them to fill tomes, books, reams of paper. It's nice to finally focus back. Club football, domestic action, league and cup competitions. Hydration break complete. It's 29th minute in Sevilla. The scoreline remains as it did after just 4 minutes. Alvaro Garcia's goal, the only thing separating these two teams at the moment. And for all Sevilla's 58% possession, they haven't really done a huge amount with it. Just a one shot, no on target. That's the problem for them. They are holding the majority of the ball. It really caused Rayo Vallecano too many problems. There's almost to underline that point. Florian Lejeune runs onto a through ball. He's attempted to be slipped in behind by Garidi and pumps it away out on that far side for a Sevilla throw-in. Garidi will flick it on down the touchline. Romero sets off after it, gets on the end of it near the corner flag down that left flank. He's got another throw-in. This one, I think, might be launched into the box. Gabriel Suazo doesn't quite get the distance he might have hoped for. Again, Lejeune is the man doing the defending for Rayo Vallecano. That one's more up than away by Isi. He is getting a toe to the ball, but Agume just slightly too strong. Ian tried to slip it through towards Garidi. Really between him and Oso. And it's up with Augusto Batalla. There are options on the bench for both of these two managers if they want to change it. At the moment, I imagine it's probably Sevilla boss who's thinking about his potential shuffles of the pack if they does come to that. Except for Ruben Vargas, who featured this summer for Switzerland. Manny Bueno on the bench. Otozzano, Agudo as well. Rabiot only joined 4 days ago. The young Scot, formerly of Rangers. From the Swedish club Sirius. Experience at as well a couple of seasons back. To the right hand side it goes to Rayo Vallecano. Here's Lazio. There's runners as well. Towards the back post. There's Isi! Isi Palazon with the stooping header. It's not going to count though. The whistle's gone. I think for a VAR check. There were two at the back post. Isi Palazon was one. The other was Oscar Valentin. It's the Rayo Vallecano captain is just having a word with the referee. Let's have a little look at the replay. And Juan Iglesias was drawn inside by Isi Palazon. The two have come together just outside the penalty area. Garcia's ended up on his rear end. I think that has been spotted. The video assistant referee has just drawn the referee's attention to it, and well, that won't stand. It's a warning at the very least for Sevilla. It might not have been Isi. There was the option of Ivan Barrio, it was, I think, at the back post too. He's not best pleased with the decision, Isi Palazon. Shrug of the shoulders, bemused gesture. to say. I felt the contact was fleeting at most. Consequential. It's the official's opinion that counts, and they've won it back here. Rayo Vallecano inside the Sevilla half of the pitch. And the taker dispossessed them, and able to make the most of it. Force the ball forward here, Sevilla. And taker steps away to De Frutos. Runners across the face of goal, it goes into the 6-yard box. It was Unai Lopez busting a gut to get there. Alvaro Garcia not too far away either. Well, how close was that? Still protesting his innocence, Balazon. It's long gone now, that disallowed second. They're doing all the right things, Rayo Vallecano. Same can't necessarily be said about Sevilla. There's Romero, very deep. They cease with him. Out to the left-hand side. Also, it's closed down by Andre Alexiou. Be a throw-in. 10 minutes plus added time remaining of this first half. Very dumb-looking Rayo Vallecano fan in the stands. Someone needs to tell him what the scoreline is if he hasn't already noticed. It's flashed in from range. Romero tried to improvise and adapt as Salas it was, lashed his effort off target. Romero couldn't steer it on target. There was a little hint of offside as well. De Frutos tried to get his cross to Alvaro Garcia. He was released by Randy Inteka. Here they come again, Rayo Vallecano. Here's Lazio to the byline towards the near post, beaten away by Coremos. Gets down low. Lopez forward. Here's Lejeune on halfway. Looking for Isi with the header. White shirts converge around him. And he's won the free kick. Lazio got all the way to the byline in the penalty area. He was looking for Garcia, who made the run towards the near post. It was going to be difficult to squeeze that past for Coremos. Ceased in the centre circle, standing over the set piece. Lejeune to Lazio. De Frutos trying to find Lazio again. Back into play for Rayo Vallecano. Cease, base of the centre circle inside his own half of the pitch. Lazio, right hand side. Forward to Lopez. De Frutos. Lopez. Nice footwork from De Frutos on the right hand side, and it's a bit of a luck as well with the break of the ball. Taker wants a free kick, isn't going to get it. He's Garidi. Fagume. Nicely measured ball for Isaac Romero. Keeper came a long way. Got in front of Isaac Romero. And the referee's pointed to the penalty spot. He's made the most of it, Romero. They're not happy about the decision, Rayo Vallecano. Referee says, what am I supposed to do? It's just blocked him off. Mataya protests his innocence. Got a huge lifeline, a gift, a route back into the game. A lovely pass, though, from Agume into Romero. Mataya had come a long way. Romero's touch was heavy. I can understand what Mataya is saying. He's got too much on the ball there, Isaac Romero. And Batalla, I think, is just trying to get his body across and shepherd that out of play. There is a tangle of legs. And in many ways, you might say that the goalkeeper's been fouled rather than the other way around. This one's going to be checked. The assistant, the VAR is just passing on his recommendation, his guidance to Ricardo de Burgos and Goechea. He's getting a moment of peace to himself. They're following him around the pitch at the moment. See what he decides shortly. But I wouldn't be surprised to see this overturned. Equally, though, you can see this being upheld. It's a difficult one to really call. Either way, someone's going to be disappointed. Both teams have a case. Both managers pacing around in their technical areas. Luis Garcia Plata immediately thought it was a penalty. Reaction from the Rayo Vallecano players suggested something very different. Still the check goes on. Batalla is a long way out of his goal now as he comes across to have a word with the referee. It's taking a lot to clear up. The question is it a clear and obvious error? I'm not entirely sure. But he's been asked to come and look at the pitch side monitor, and I think that's probably the right decision. As he can reassess with a better view of how things happen. It was Romero who was running onto the ball. He got a toe to it, but it was a very heavy touch, and he's lost control of the ball for my money. That's what's probably going to save Augusto Batalla. It's not just that, but Batalla looks like he's had his legs clipped as he steps across the path of Romero. I think anywhere else on the pitch, and that's going to be called as a free kick against the goalkeeper. Well, he's made his mind up, the referee. No penalty. He's overturned his initial decision. I had a suspicion that was happening. And it's rather telling that there's no complaints from Isaac Romero. Augusto Batalla feels vindicated. It was a quick decision from the referee, immediately pointed to the penalty spot. Probably just about got that one right now. As I said, Sevilla will feel aggrieved. Go look at the contact between the goalkeeper and Isaac Romero. So they should have a penalty kick here. Reminder as well, AC Palazon had it in the back of the net at the other end. That one was chalked off, but it looked to be a bit of a soft foul on Juan Iglesias. They are getting involved again this evening. Second time tonight. On the far side. The clock says 42 minutes. Ostensibly that means we've got 3 minutes remaining, but there's been quite a bit of a delay and disruption from hydration breaks to VAR reviews that we should have a fair chunk of added time added on at the end of this first 45 minutes in Seville. It is the home side who are trying to pick their way through. And the challenge on Gabriel Suazo was a poor one from Bruno Lopez. Sevilla the free kick in the dangerous position out on this left-hand side. It's been spotted up by Orso. 12 yards from the touchline. 35 yards from Batalla's goal. Left-footed ball high towards the back post, too high, too deep. And that was bounce out of play for a goal kick. I've got those right yet this evening. Sevilla. Salas and Aruna Sangante will make the long run back to their defensive positions. plenty of value. Looking to knock on him at the other end. Sangante makes a lovely crossfield pass out to that left flank for also. To Suazo. And here's Guarini, back to Suazo. And a bounce off the base of the corner flag for a throw in from that left-hand side. And Suazo gets forward. Into also. In the corner for Suazo. He wins the corner. It was Lazio that came out to meet him and blocked the cross. 45th minute in Seville. And Sevilla with the set piece, trying to generate a bit of momentum to take into the break. Agume to Guillen, away by Lejeune. Suazo. Agume again out on that left-hand side, still up from taking that corner kick, but that's a poor pass. Lejeune has to be a bit more decisive than some of his colleagues and pokes that out of play. As it was Oscar Valentin. Iglesias. Miguel Sierra. Charging down this right-hand side. Three have come across to try and prevent him getting his cross into the penalty area. Will concede the throw-in as we move into 6 minutes of added time. Iglesias. Teca with the interception and the pass out to Alvaro Garcia. Quickly back onto the pitch by Juan Iglesias. Sierra. Lifted in towards the back post, Batalla brushed his fingertips to it. Didn't quite drop through us, so Lejeune got it away. Left-hand side now with Agume. Agume to Suazo, low ball drilled in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Isi can flick it away from the edge of the penalty area after the initial intervention from Lejeune. Inteca bumped off the ball by Sangante. As long as a free kick, is it? Seems to be a decision from Rocher. Well, his Pathé Cisse is going to take charge of this one for Vallecano. And turn all the way back. Here's Batalla. Cease. To the middle for Isi Palazon. Valentin to his goalkeeper. Valentin on the edge of the box. Now, keeping the ball between the pair of them in the moment. And they'll get Lejeune involved. Forward on the line for Lazio. Valentin again. Batalla. Cease. Showing a modicum of control here. Rayo Vallecano. It's a lunging challenge from Isaac Romero, which did catch Pathé Cisse. Relatively high on the ankle, and it's going to be a yellow card. The first of the evening. Shown to the Sevilla centre forward. He's apologised for the challenge, to be fair to him. And we call a forward tackle. Stretching to try and win it back. Starts showing, feeling much worse. Okay, in front of Garcia for another Sevilla throw-in. Never really settled for Sangante. A less than confident touch from the 24-year-old who slices that out of play for Vallecano. Back with Batalla. Bounces that straight to his opposite number. Vercodimos. Wants the ball back, gets the ball back. To Iglesias on the right-hand side. Magume. And to squeeze it in the path of Osso on that left-hand side. There's Datsio again. Guillen. Magume, left of centre. To Guillen, who's quite wide at the moment. Swazzo. Magume forward. Nico Guillen, the teenager. He's bouncing as he tries to bounce his way through bodies. Took a touch on the way through and stayed down. Vallecano pump it forward towards Randy and Teka for a moment. Sevilla had two out of action. Actually stepped on Issy Palazon as Nico Guillen, then he went to ground. Here's Agume in a crossing position, left-hand side. The ball hung towards the back post, rising with Salas. Guillen tries to keep the ball moving. Here's Issy Palazon. And Teka can't keep it. Sangante flashed into the box, away by Cease. Thrown on the near side as we move into the final minute of added time. So a long throw opportunity for Juan Iglesias. Towards the near post. It's up by Lejeune, and there was a chance. Isaac Romero rising over Ratsiu. Just couldn't keep his header down. Right on the stroke of half time. With seconds left in this first half, that's probably Sevilla's best chance. And the referee will blow the whistle for half time. Alvaro Garcia's 4th minute strike, capitalising on a mistake from Aruna Sangante, is all that separates the two sides. They've had another chucked off for a foul by Issy Palazon on Juan Iglesias as he burst into the penalty area to not home Jorge de Frutos' cross. Not long ago, the referee awarded Sevilla a penalty for the challenge by Augusto Batalla on Isaac Romero. The VAR review saw that overturned after a brief delay. Sevilla, though trailing Rayo Vallecano, have taken a few chances that this game has offered up. At half-time in Seville, it is Sevilla 0, Rayo Vallecano 1. We'll be back in about 15 minutes' time for the second half. welcome back. Sevilla trailing at the break. A goal to nil scored by Alvaro Garcia. And they're going to make changes at the start of this second half. Out goes Nico Guillen and in comes Peque. It's also the end of Isaac Romero's involvement. And in comes the new Scottish striker Yuri. Still waiting Rayo Vallecano to return to the pitch. He's had a goal chalked off by Issy Palazon with a header in that first half. Isaac Romero, after 38 minutes, had a penalty disallowed on VAR review. Augusto Batalla was indignant after the referee pointed to the penalty spot, felt that he was fouled, and on review, he was probably correct. As the Vallecano players make their way back out here at the Estadio Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan in Seville, which so far has had to endure a frustrating night from a locals' perspective. This is the second game of the Spanish top flight season. Overall, tomorrow, and then of course over the course of the week and into next weekend, as Europe's top leagues fire into life. Robbie Yuri is on, wearing the number 9 shirt for Sevilla. The referee's out there counting up the players. Vallecano almost ready to start. The first half took a while in getting underway. There was a mysterious delay that we still haven't quite got on the got to grips with and figured out what the details were. Nonetheless, looks like we are about to continue. See Palazon it is, standing over the ball. Shop sides. Vallecano kicking us off from left to right. So yeah, defending the right-hand side of the pitch, and it's Palazon who gets the ball moving again in this second half. Confirmation of those two severe changes. Nico Guillen, the 18-year-old, goes off. Peque Fernandez, the number 10, coming on. A bit more of a attacking move there from Luis Garcia Plata, and Romero withdrawn. Robbie Yuri is the man on in his place, as we already mentioned. The summer signing from Sirius, joined just 4 days ago. Former Glasgow Rangers player. Years old. Right. They cease to Augusto Batalla. No changes for Vallecano at the start of the second half. Still Batalla in goal. Value at left back. Ratziu on the right hand side. Cis and Lejeune, the two centre backs. Valentin and Unai Lopez, the double pivot. Alvaro Garcia, the goal scorer, on the left hand side. On the right, Jorge de Frutos. See Palazon hovering just behind Andy Dega. Batalla to Lejeune. There's Quique Salas. Peque Fernandez. Now also on the left-hand side, swung into the penalty area, close to Uri, not close enough. Lejeune with the header. Agume. Enrique Fernandez. Dispossessed, but at the expense of a Sevilla throw-in. Flickos getting back, going into the byline. There's Uri. A strike from the edge of the box by Oso. Some appeals for a handball. It was Oscar Valentin who sprawled in front of it. Maybe right, the chance here. That one just bounced away from Alvaro Garcia. He's caught up with it on the touchline on the far side. Value. Sis. Lejeune let it roll under his foot. He's also trying to accelerate down the left-hand side. Lejeune gets across, juggles. And there's a wrestling match between Lejeune and Oso, who's been left with his hands in his face, on his face, I should say. Seems to just tug back at Lejeune. The arm was up. Almost pulled the arm into his face. Looking for that challenge from the experienced Frenchman, Florian Lejeune. Slides it. Piquet. Sangante, whose mistake gave Vallecano the opportunity to open the scoring after just 4 minutes. Here goes Miguel Sierra. Garidi. Low drive, beaten away by Batalla, and maybe that's a penalty. The referee points to the spot. It's Miguel Sierra who went to ground, looking to go on the end of the follow-up. The challenge came in from Alvaro Garcia. Not sure he was there, blindsided by Miguel Sierra. Well, it's just the start to the second half that Sevilla were after. Comes from that lovely ball inside from Sierra, who finds Guridi. Gets his shot away, the left-footed strike. Batalla couldn't hang on to it. Let's have a little look at the replay. Is there any case for Alvaro Garcia? He's trying to get there first in front of Miguel Sierra. He's just been beaten to the ball by the 22-year-old. We've had one overturned already this evening, Sevilla. This one, though, looks much more likely to stand. In a moment, Luciano Gume has the ball in his hands. I think it's going to be Guridi. It is. The ball's been passed over. Well, Augusto Batalla saved the last 2 penalties he's faced. One in Europe, the other in league action last term. And Guridi puts it low to his left. Batalla can't prevent it this time. Sevilla have parity. The tension lifted. Many will feel just as he's done. They felt aggrieved after that first half penalty was overturned. It's John Guridi's first goal for Sevilla after making the summer switch from Deportivo Alaves. His first goal in the Spanish top flight. Since the 14th of March 2025. There's a 2-2 draw between Las Palmas and Alaves. That one gives them the lead. Up and down the other end. Vallecano, Sevilla have a body down in their own penalty area. Quique Salas. They've got a toe to the ball, did Jorge de Frutos. So took a big chunk out of Quique Salas. The follow through. Referee just stopped play to make sure he was alright. Seems to catch him quite high on the body. Close to the head. This is a second shot on target. Sevilla. The first came moments before the penalty was awarded. Really tells the story of this evening. There has just been the 3 shots on target between the two sides. Chances haven't been coming thick and fast. It's been difficult, really, great opportunities for both of these two sets of players. The spoils were shared in the fixture here last year. Wallstrom, Nico Adams and Alfonso Espino. So that one finished 1-1. That's a nice ball. Lifted into the penalty area, away by Ratiu. Oso collects on the touchline. Scooped across by Peque. It's Garidi with the delivery. It's all the way out of play on the far side for a throw-in. We've got forward well, did Juan Iglesias. Take the throw in as well. 36,777 in at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan this evening. It's the 11th biggest stadium in Spain. Capacity closer to 40,000, a few sections open this evening. We've been tired. Just waited for Javier to come and put him under a bit of pressure. Cease. Lopez forward to Teca. It's all getting a bit scrappy for Vallecano, and it's another free kick. It's time for the challenge on Lucien Agume out on the Sevilla right. Iglesias not standing on ceremony. Kante to Salas. Down the left-hand side for Suazo. Also after it. Get there before Ratiu. Salas. Suazo. Sangante, 6 yards outside the centre circle, inside his own half of the pitch, looking forward, finds also Suazo, Piqué, Salas. Just needs a much quicker, sharper from Sevilla at the start of this second half. It's paid dividends. There's Gabriel Suazo. Away off Lazio, according to the referee. It's just a final last touch came off of Peque Fernandez. We'll have to throw in instead. Forward by Lopez. This is Valentin. The ball lofted out towards that left-hand side. Won't reach Alvaro Garcia. And haven't really been able to get their foot in the ball so far in this second half. Iglesias looking for Uri. Sleeping with Cis. Here's Valentin. Forward to Isi. Outside the centre circle. So, the first challenge on Oscar Valentin by John Garidi. Was it the second? Yes, actually. The second by Garidi on Isi Palazon. The first had come from Miguel Hernandez. Cis. Lejeune. Isi Palazon. Back to Bataya. Cis. To Lejeune. Walking pace at the moment, the Frenchman. Forgive me, 35 years old. His breath back. Cis. Rabiot. Always skipping away from Rabiot. And Iglesias. To it by Cis. That's another foul on that left-hand side. A quick yellow card produced for John Garidi, I believe. It's Ivan Bali who's rubbing his right leg. Just got there late. There was no harm intended by Sevilla number 18. Cis, Garcia. It's behind the goal kick. 60 minutes gone, an hour played in Seville. Nothing to separate these two sides, a goal apiece. So a local breathing, a little bit easier after a first half to be forgotten from a Sevilla perspective. The question is, can they build on this now? Peque, able to keep it. Lopez. Futos. Comes the ground. And a free kick for Rayo Vallecano. Just really lacking fluency, this one. Looks like Rayo Vallecano are preparing a change here. I think we're going to see now the Brazilian very shortly. First the free kick from Isi Palazon from the right hand side. So best of deliveries, it's flat and easily scoops away from the edge of the penalty area. Garcia. To Cis. Too far away from Baliu. Sierra. Now Iglesias. The red shirt starts to erect itself in front of him. Suazo into the penalty area. And there was a chance there for Robert Uri. Fisted initially by Suazo. It bounced away from also. Deflection was kind for Sevilla. Really snatched at it. Pretty far wide in the end. Iglesias, Sierra. Forward by Rayo Vallecano, intended for Inteka, come out by Sancante. He's grown into the game after that early mistake. Cease. Lejeune. To Vallecano, substitute waiting on the touchline. Calimao and Sergio Cameo are about to come on to attackers. To try and give Vallecano the edge that they're missing. So they were passed by Issy Palazon and could signal the end of his involvement. He's heading towards the touchline. And it will be Randy Inteka and Issy Palazon, both who make way. On comes Sergio Cameo, the 25-year-old former Atletico Madrid forward, and Calimao as well. He's a bit more of a recognised centre forward. From Pachuca back in September of 2025. That's appearance number 39 for Rayo Vallecano. 4 goals in the league last year, 4 goals in Europe as well, and 10 appearances, including that double against Samsunspor, but having to do some defending here. Rayo Vallecano, Peque! There was a deflection, but Mattia could hold on to it. Ended up straight at him. Just injected a little bit of energy into the midfield for Sevilla as Peque Hernandez. Fernandez, I should say. That's you. Lopez. Value. Here's Cameo for the first time. Value. Cameo will slot in where Issy Palazon was playing, still behind the striker. Inteka had a difficult evening, too much to feed off. Frutos. That's you into the penalty area. Can he keep his composure? Tried to tee up a teammate. It was very tight in that penalty area, and Sevilla can get it away. In fact, it's turned into a half-decent ball for Robbie Uri, holds it up well on the far side, inside the Rayo Vallecano penalty area, half of the pitch, I should say. And a yellow card shown to Alvaro Garcia. Here's Gabriel Suazo. Down the line for Orso. Looks in field for support, finds it in the form of Peque. Peque shifted onto Sierra. Sierra to the penalty area. His shot was smothered by Lopez. To Mattia. They'll play it down, Rayo Vallecano. It's skipper Oscar Valentin. The follow through from Miguel Sierra that caught Valentin. Just caused the damage through with the shot. The player's legs getting the bread and meat sandwich of the ball. See reverberations of the power in that effort in Oscar Valentin's leg. We start with a drop ball. Just out of the pitch for a moment now. Valentin, Sevilla looking to get Ruben Vargas on shortly. He's going the ball over to Soiseau. Into Peque. Salas. Iglesias rather. Sierra. Peque edge of the box. Backwards. To Iglesias. Into the penalty area, not a bad flick on. Uri was stretching, couldn't reach it. It was also flying in with the header. And Uri trying to get his left boot on it. Will be a goal kick, but hunting this second now, Sevilla. Just anticipated also getting his head to it. A smart movement from Robbie Uri. Well, Miguel Sierra is going to jog off to be replaced by Ruben Vargas. So far, it's the penalty he won that has given Sevilla a route back into this game. The Swiss international Vargas comes jogging on. He is a box of tricks, isn't he? Vallecano are going to take the opportunity to make a change as well. Alvaro Garcia, who opened the scoring after just 4 minutes, is heading off. And then comes Fran Perez. Former Valencia man. Also gives that away. Jorge de Frutos. That's you. With a wrong pass. And now well positioned on the edge of the penalty area. Did Jorge de Frutos, if he got his head up. 70 minutes gone, 20 left to play. Not too many disruptions to the second half either. Perez. Valentin is moving okay. Lejeune. Lopez take it with him. Here's Beckett. He's drifting across the middle of the pitch. To Iglesias. Vargas looking for Beckett. Just blocked off there by Oscar Valentin. Ends up with the ball. Struggling to keep it at the moment, Ryan Vallecano. There's Robbie Uri to hand off to Garidi. Iglesias. Garidi. Can be the first man with the cross. One poked away by Valentin. Opens up for one Iglesias on the right hand side. Takes a touch. Vargas at the near post. Can't steer his header on target from a very tight angle. And the referee will point them over to the technical areas. That'll be another hydration break. Temperatures still very warm in Seville this evening. Quite 30 degrees, but still in the upper 20s, 28, 27, around that. So as they wander off for a hydration break, a cooling break, whichever way you want to call it. The game hasn't really cooled down at all in the second half. In fact, it's the opposite. Sevilla causing Rayo Vallecano all the problems now. The reverse was the case the first 45 minutes. It's a happier man, Luis Garcia Plata. And now, as he talks to his charges, he'll be demanding a winner. It's been a long time since they've tasted defeat against Rayo Vallecano in this fixture. Points across to all of his players. Seeing a fair few changes now. 4 apiece. And 3 for Sevilla and 4 for Rayo Vallecano, either way. These two sides are hoping to change something about performances in the closing stages so far in the second half. Well, they've Marta draw level Sevilla. They haven't really caused Rayo Vallecano or Bristol Battaglia too many extra problems other than the penalty. There were no complaints from Navarro Garcia. Sierra got there ahead of him. They have 60 minutes remaining. Stroll back onto the pitch. Climax to the game. Long by Le Jeu. And a goal kick. Together just outside the centre circle. If he blows the whistle, it's produced the yellow card. Lucien Agume is the man who will be added to the referee's notebook. Was it Unai Lopez? It was Lopez. Apologies, it's the Rayo Vallecano midfielder who's attempted to try and go overhead kick that, trying to pull out of the tempered sill. Kick Peque in the rear end. That is a long ball. So around midfield. There's Florian Lejeune. Valentin to Battaglia. Narcisse in free rein to try and drive forward. Perez. He was just barged off the ball and instructed to try and recover it. He's found his man there, Fran Perez. Interesting to have a look at this one. It's Robbie Uri who's taken that. He's holding his shin. And Ruben Vargas with a challenge in from behind. At full pace, there was a suspicion that might have been a little bit more than a yellow card, but the replay shows the referee probably made the right decision. They're going to make changes. Both managers will be sending all replacements. It's going to be 2 substitutes for Rayo Vallecano, 1 for Sevilla. That means they'll only be able to make 4 of their 5 changes. Which will make them right here anyway, is the Sevilla free kick up towards the edge of the penalty area. Sangante can't win it. Peque does win it back. Here he comes down the left-hand side. Also, there was Lazio flying in with the challenge. Just got enough of the ball to deflect it into a safer position in the penalty area. They got it away, Rayo Vallecano. Here come those changes, starting with Sevilla. Also goes off. And the Nigerian Chidera Ejuke comes on, former CSKA Moscow man. And changes to for Rayo Vallecano. Unai Lopez, the first to go off. He'll be replaced by Pelayo Fernandez. And so both centre midfielders. Oscar Valentin goes off, and on comes Pedro Diaz. Both of them looking pretty spent after almost 82 minutes of football. Room night season opener. Let's take them to get up to speed a little. Full match sharpness. Here's a Duque. It's a committed run down the right hand side. The cross not quite what he was looking for. There's Perez. Tries to switch it out towards the left hand side for. No, I haven't seen him touch the ball. It's 79 minutes gone. We're ahead of ourselves in Seville. He's crying out for someone to just show a little bit of class and grab this game by the scruff of the neck. To Bataya. To left hand side, aimed towards Fran Perez. In for Sevilla by Iglesias. Gume forward. Flicked on by Robbie Uri. And across from Vargas. Excuse me, Peque. Easy for Augusto Montoya. Cross long towards Carreo. Isis. And Carreo is fouled by Gabriel Suazo. Joining Sean Caridi, his teammate in the book. A yellow card for the Sevilla captain. They've got a bit of the ball, but he also stamps a bit on Sergio Cameo in doing so. Also that overhit pass and 1-0 channel over the byline. To the final 10 minutes of the 90. Tayo takes the goal kick short. There's a slight change of shape here for Rayo Vallecano, at least for He stepped up into midfield. Pelayo Fernandez is now playing alongside Florian Lejeune. They're preparing a change. My apologies, of course, there were the two severe changes at half-time, which means they can get this fifth and final substitute on. And they're going to withdraw their goal scorer, John Garidi. No mistake from the penalty spot for the number 18. On comes Manu Bueno. For his 48th Sevilla appearance. Hasn't quite played as many games as he'd hoped. Not for games at the back of the last year with a knee problem. He's still just 22 years old, is he? European trophy winner with Sevilla. It's his fifth appearance. Well, fifth appearance in a match day squad at least against Rayo Vallecano. February 2023. 90th minute substitute back in 2025 as well, Bueno. Rayo Vallecano with the free kick. It's an attacking one as well. In there by Pedro Diaz. And it was Lejeune who got on the end of it, but was unable to steer his header on target. He was rather underneath it. Chunkaridi was immediately taking a seat on the Sevilla bench, and there's an ice pack on that right thigh of his, so we do hope that's just a precautionary measure. Perez on the left-hand side, the ball that sails across the goal mouth. Will it be kept in play on the near side? It will be. And they've won the throw-in. Or have they? No. It'll be a Sevilla throw-in. Jorge de Frutos thought he'd kept it in play. And Gabriel Suazo went sliding in. And take the resulting throw-in for Sevilla instead. Up towards halfway. Yuri. With Cease and Lejeune, who will hop that up towards Alamal. He's been upended midway through the Sevilla half of the pitch. Just don't quite have the control of the game they did for a portion of this second half, Sevilla. It's yet another set piece for Rayo Vallecano, and now they've just edged ahead of their opponents tonight in terms of fouls committed. That's number 15 for Sevilla. Vallecano with 13 so far this evening. It's been a bitty sort of match. It hasn't really flowed with any real fluency from the word go. Two in the wall. Ajuke is one of them. Beke the other. Lejeune's going to take it on from a long way out. Not too far away. It was swirling in front of Vlachodimos. He's tipped it over the crossbar, will be a corner. It's Perez's ball. There it is! Oh, flicked on. And then from all of 4 yards off the line, Rayo Vallecano can't find a way past Vlachodimos yet again. It was right at him, the header. It's given away outside the Sevilla box. Referee's going to put it back for offside, though. Fascinating to have a little look at that. I think it was Pelayo. The initial save from Vlachodimos was brilliant. It was Ratziu who flashed it into the 6-yard box. And Jorge de Frutos it was. He had to adjust in mid-air to try and get his head on the ball. He's done really well to steer it on target. In the end, it was right at Odysseus Vlachodimos. Too far away from the winner, but once but twice there, Rayo Vallecano in the closing stages. We've got about 3.5 minutes left of the 90. Suazo. Salas. Bueno. Ajuke. Breaks down outside the Vallecano penalty area. They've regained possession. Sangante. Agume. Trundles away from Bueno. There'll be an opportunity for Ruben Vargas here on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Suazo on the overlap. Calm stuff on the edge of the box from Rayo Vallecano, and they had white shirts flying in to try and win it high up the pitch. De Frutos went flying away, came in. Quique Salas did with a strong challenge, strong enough that the referees brandished the red card. Luis Garcia Plata is not happy. Jorge de Frutos was threatening to escape down the right-hand side. The referee's going to have a word with the manager. Try and calm him down. His reaction was vociferous, to say the least. We've yet to see a replay of the challenge. It was at quite some pace. Sevilla felt that there was a handball by de Frutos just seconds before. As Vargas tried to get away, there probably was, you know, he was falling down though. I think that's maybe why the referee has allowed play to continue, and it's not as high as the first looked actually from Quique Salas. It's probably the right decision though. Well, a twist in the tail right at the end. Salas waiting as they double check the referee's decision. Gabriel Suazo is trying to make representations for his colleague, who is still hanging around. Right now the main concern is for Jorge de Frutos. Go tumbling away from that challenge. It seemed like Quique Salas's boot almost rose with Jorge de Frutos as he fell down, which did make it look much worse to the naked eye, but the force, the speed, and the placement of the boot, and lateness of the challenge just makes the referee's mind up. There will be no overturning. I'm not sure you'd see it given in every league across world football. But no complaints, Quique Salas. So we're down to 10. We're into added time now at the end of this tactical game, shall we say. We can call them chess matches, these kind of slightly bitty contests. It's not a bad ball from the right-hand side by Lazio. We are moving into 7 minutes, can you believe it, of added time. And Perez can go on the end of that ball at the back post. Tony Iglesias' turn to stay down. Raul was fixated on the ball. This was Iglesias. The two came together in the penalty area. It's Sangante who was tussling with Alemão. It's like they've just dropped Lucien Agume into the back line to shore up the numbers. Sevilla. Podemos long. Value with the header. Perez. It's tight on that far side. Sangante anywhere will do. Pataya. Lejeune. Lazio. Dispossessed by Vargas. There's the danger. Robbie Uri will chase after it. Lejeune watches it out of play. Now it's into Pelayo. Cis. Camille. Lejeune. Pelayo. Value on the left-hand side. Diaz. Now Cease to carry it 15-20 yards forward. Picked off by Vargas on the edge of the penalty area. Lejeune again. Camille. a throw-in. Taken by Lazio. Lejeune. Mr. Value. Perez. It's a good challenge. They've got the ball. Bueno. Uri. Goes down, and the referee points at the spot. It's another penalty for Sevilla. Florian Lejeune wags his finger at the referee. He's done so well there, Robbie Uri. They'll check the penalty. But Manu Bueno it is that carries it free for Sevilla. It's across to Robbie Uri, who sees the leg dangle. There's no contact. There's absolutely no contact at all from Florian Lejeune. If there is, it is minuscule. Once again, Ricardo de Burgos Bengoechea is at the centre of things tonight in Seville. Florian Lejeune continues to plead his case with the referee. We've seen one replay which suggests there was no contact, minimal at least. The second, though, well, that might be the damning one. I'm not sure. It's so difficult to see any real contact at all. If there is, he certainly made the most of it, Robbie Uri. And surely now a chance to win it for Sevilla. On a night that started so badly, and with the red card to Quique Salas, looked like it was going to end pretty badly as well. It may well be Robbie Uri from the penalty spot to seal 3 points at the start of the season for Sevilla. Peque currently has the ball tucked under his left arm. Luis Garcia Plata can barely watch. It's been checked. It has been cleared. Florian Lejeune's pleas falling on deaf ears. Mataya has been beaten from 12 yards once already tonight. It will be Peque, who stands hands on hips. Peque fires it into the top corner. Sevilla, with 2 penalties, have surely won this now. To say it's against all odds would probably be a bit of a stretch, but it's not been easy. It's not been straightforward. The inquest continues. Florian Lejeune pleading with the referee, still debating the decision to award that late penalty. It will not matter in the slightest, though. An excellent finish from Peque Hernandez. It's a debate that will rage. Racked it into the top corner, Peque Hernandez, to open his account for the season. There still will be time for Vallecano to try and conjure something up late. But you sense the game's got away from them now. The clock says 98. The stadium is bouncing for the first time tonight. That has to be said. This atmospheric ground has been a cauldron of tension for much of this almost 100 minutes of football. And Robbieri once again making the most of contact on the far side. It's probably a fair result on the balance of play if it is to stay like this at full time, but it'll be a bitterly difficult pill to swallow for Vallecano. Maybe a free kick from the far side. They're taking their time taking it. Sevilla. Batalla comes to the edge of the penalty area. Launches it long. It's all the way through to Vlachodimos. Lejeune has stayed forward. Away by Sangante. Cis. Led by Diaz. De Pelayo. Baliu. That's a foul on halfway on Fran Perez by Juan Iglesias. Taken short. Diaz to Cameo. Time for one last chance maybe. Ratziu with his left foot towards the far post. Bounces out of play off Iglesias for a Vallecano throw-in. Backwards into midfield. Here is Perez again. Cameo slung towards the back post. Dropped to the edge of the box. Lejeune. Cis. Maybe a chance. Oh, it's all getting a bit fractious in there now. I think it's Alemão who's down on the edge of the 6-yard box. After Cis was just standing over him to make sure that there was no one running into him in the aftermath of that attacking move. The yellow card is out. It's actually Jorge de Frutos who's stayed down holding his face. Yellow card shown to Cis. And Jorge de Frutos. Is that Feliciano Goumet? It is a Goumet. He seems stunned. So yellow cards for Cis and the Goumet. Vlachodimos has the ball in his hands. And the referee blows the final whistle. Sevilla off to a winning start, but they made heavy weather of it. Alvaro Garcia's opening goal after just 4 minutes seems an age away now. A mistake from Aruna Sangante gave them the opportunity, which they took with both hands. Sevilla really struggled to make an impact in that first 45. And on a different night, Issi's goal may well have stood. It was chalked off, as was the penalty. one late on in that first half. And the penalty won by Miguel Sierra certainly wasn't. John Caridi made no mistake from the spot. It was a stalemate. They were locked step by step, one apiece heading into the final few minutes. And Quique Salas went lunging in 2 minutes from time and was shown a red card. That looked like it might have been the opportunity for Rayo Vallecano to go on and win it. But just a few moments later, Robbie Uri went down under controversial circumstances. Florian Lejeune couldn't believe that the referee pointed to the spot. VAR had a look, couldn't overturn the referee's decision, and it was Peque Fernandez, the second half substitute, who rifled it into the top corner beyond Augusto Vatayo to earn Sevilla all 3 points. It's been slim pickings for Rayo Vallecano on this ground, and it remains so in the first round of fixtures in Spain's top flight this evening. Sevilla, they'll move second, but after only just 2 games of the season. There are smiles all round, and last year that wasn't necessarily the case in these parts. Rayo Vallecano and Sevilla, it wasn't the most free-flowing of football this evening, but certainly an engrossing one. Full time at the Stadio Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan in Seville. It's finished. Sevilla 2, Rayo Vallecano 1. Good night.